All right, friends, we're back with another video on the gym slave himself, Jason. Blaha Strength and Fitness. Refined fructose plus high dietary fat is the cause of the obesity epidemic. I don't know. High refined, I think even natural fructose can have this problem. Yeah, man. Let's listen to what he has to say here.
Fixing type 2 diabetes once it's already there. Let's just not get... Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and today I thought I would chat with you guys a little bit about understanding why we have the obesity epidemic that we do, and it really is a couple of dietary factors, and I know that we oftentimes use these terms.
Before we go with this video, I just want to bring up some info. So he's going to talk about fructose, right? Unlike glucose, which is used by cells as an energy source, fructose is metabolized by the liver, where it promotes the synthesis of fat. In fact, some experts believe our bodies are not designed to handle this excess fructose. Interesting. Now he's going to talk about refined fructose. Well, I don't know. Plants are filled with fructose, okay? These fruits, whatever, these fruits.
Terms, fitness world will say, well, hyper-palatable, calorie-dense foods, or they'll just simply say refined carbs. And here's the fact of the matter. Let's be very specific, because those are such ambiguous.
Also, I want to bring up one other thing here. Hold on. So humans are unable to digest cellulose because we lack appropriate enzymes, cellulase, to break down this complex substance, cellulose. Undigestible cellulose is the fiber which aids in the smooth working of the intestinal tract. I don't know that, man. I know that it doesn't work for humans. Why can't we digest cellulose? Linear chain of glucose molecules collects into microfibrils that form the main structure of plant tissue. These dense fibrils, made from beta-acetyl lineages, make it difficult for humans to digest cellulose, as we lack the necessary enzymes to break down the beta-acetyl lineages. Okay. What if humans could digest cellulose? Well, they can't. Can humans metabolize... why don't humans eat grass? Why don't we eat grass? That's a good question. Humans cannot digest grass as they lack the microbes that synthesize enzymes involved in cellulose digestion. So why the fuck are humans eating grass all the time? Pretending that we're herbivores. Additionally, the pH of the rumen ranges from 6 to 7, while the pH of human stomach is around 1 to 3. Well, there you go, man. And then they're telling you it's healthy for you. Meanwhile, it's unhealthy for you to eat this stuff. It's very bad for you. Why are they promoting it as being healthy if it's extremely bad for you? Doesn't make any sense. This is the world that you live in, bro. Get it? The world of doubt, misinformation, and garbage.
Ambiguous and vague terms.
And then you get a fucking idiot like this gym slave, who's going to tell you, oh, well, there's absolutely nothing wrong with eating this fructose and cellulose and everything. It's going to be healthy for you. It's very healthy for you. Meanwhile, you can't digest it. It's unhealthy. It's not good for you. It's just going to cause you trouble. So what's the point?
What do we mean by hyperpalatable? Well, anything that tastes really good that's easy.
Hyperpalatable. Well, we should eat for hyperpalatability. We shouldn't eat for health, right? We should eat because it tastes good.
Overeat. Okay, that's it. That's usually because we've added large amounts of sweet and salty or fat, right? So
the problem with society is today overfed and undernourished. That's the problem. Why are you starving around lunchtime? Why are you screaming and yelling saying, it's lunchtime, I'm starving? Why are you starving? Because you're overfed and undernourished. That's why you're starving. Why are you eating 3 meals a day? Why is the government telling you to eat 3 meals a day? What's wrong with eating 1 meal? You know that? Or what if you eat every other day? Or what if you just eat once a week? You know what I mean? Like, what is the difference here exactly? Why What is the purpose? Then you have these people telling you eat a couple of small meals throughout the day. Eat like 6 meals. These bodybuilding people, they go, oh, you should eat 6 to 7 or 8 meals, small meals throughout the day. Why 6, 7, 8 small meals throughout the day? Why not just eat a whole lot of food at one shot? You know what I mean? And not having to eat throughout the whole day. Oh, saving time, busy working. I don't know, man. It's all relative. What if you go to a buffet and eat for 3 hours straight? Do you need to eat the rest of the day? Not necessarily. You know what I mean? Depending on what you're eating there, of course, as long as it's not too much herbivore.
Any combination of those three, any combination of two, usually fatty. Sweet plus fatty, right? Or salty plus fatty. So you think of sweet or savory. That's it. That's what causes it. The calorie density usually comes in the form of fat. Now, it can also come in the form of refined sugars. So here's the other problem. Everyone throws this term around, refined carb, or just they use sugar. And that's not what we need to be worried about, because this starts eliminating huge amounts of foods that are not the problem.
You shouldn't be eating any sugar, and the majority of your processed and ultra-processed food is filled with sugar by the government to drug you, to keep you working like being drugged like an animal. You drug this animal to keep working. You work it to the bone, and then you can't figure out why when you reach a certain age you're sick, crippled, disabled, messed up, you're having health problems. You don't know what's wrong with you. It's like any person taking drugs, using drugs to to enhance a performance of some sort, or to get high off of it, and whatever the fuck they're doing there, these drugs, these plant drugs. They're pushing your performance to some degree. Like, you could be smoking marijuana, that could be affecting you on the job. You'll work harder because you're numbing this stress and pain. That's the whole point of giving you marijuana. And then there's alcohol and a bunch of other drugs, man. People taking steroids and other enhanced performing drugs. These bodybuilding products and vitamins and minerals, these vitamins and whatever protein shit from the health food store, to enhance your performance, to make you work harder. Why are they feeding you coffee everywhere you go? It's coffee. It's got caffeine in it. These caffeine houses, teas with caffeine, more caffeine, caffeine drinks, bull drinks, anything to push you to work the fuck out of you. But if you notice, these animals that are carnivores, they eat and then they sleep. Like humans. Humans are carnivores. If they were to eat their natural diet, carnivore diet, they would sleep and rest and relax a lot. They don't want to do any physical labor. Nobody does in nature. No animal, no human would ever do a physical job. They would never do any physical job in nature. The only thing they would do is hunt and eat, relax and sleep, and hunt and gather and make kids, and life continues on. That's it. That's all they do. But in this artificial environment that you've been enslaved in, you've been enslaved to work harder than the last time by people like Greg Doucette and these influencers. You got to work harder than the last time. Yeah, work hard than the last time, and I'm going to tell you what's going to happen to you. You're going to accelerate aging. You're going to be fucked up, sick. You're going to get disease by working harder than the last time, by pushing your body beyond what it's normally wants to be, and something called homeostasis, and it's always out of whack. It's always out of homeostasis. Why? Because you all are fucking doing these crazy things. You're all gym slaves, lifting slaves. You're a slave to your diets. You're just a slave to just about your job. You're a slave to just about anything. See what I mean? And these coffees and caffeine drinks and drugs and shit, alcohol, marijuana. You're a slave to all these things. You rely on them. If you rely on them, you're a slave to them. If you rely on anything, you are a slave to that. Yeah, man.
The problem is refined fructose specifically, okay? And we need to be clear where we're getting those. We're usually getting those from table sugar, which is called sucrose. The chemical name for that is sucrose.
We don't know that. For some of it's coming from there. A lot of it's already in your food, and some of it's naturally occurring, and you may be eating too much of it.
Okay, we need to understand that.
He hasn't even mentioned all the pesticides, herbicides, and fungicides that are sprayed all over these fucking engineered man-made fruits and vegetables, and then they're used in processed, ultra processed, whatever. They're everywhere, man. They're toxic. Fuck. They're killing you.
Sucrose. It's a glucose and a fructose with a little bond holding them together. It's 50% glucose by weight, 50% fructose. So it's a refined fructose. And it's not all fructose we need to be concerned about. It's really refined sugars. So it would include that, and it would include high fructose corn syrup. Now we could throw honey in that same category, by the way. Not because it's refined or it doesn't have certain health benefits, but because chemically it's really no different from sucrose when it hits your intestine. Okay, that's the problem. Okay, right there. All right. When we don't have time to digest it, and the long story short, when that stuff gets into your bloodstream because you didn't have it in your gut long enough because it's refined and you absorb it really early on, your gut flora doesn't have time to turn it into glucose. Glucose is the sugar that we need. This is what our body runs on. It's our primary fuel source. We handle it well. Now, before people say, well, so for certain diabetic, no, but you've made yourself diabetic already. Don't get to the diabetic state. Because once you're there, you got a whole host of problems to fix. You're in trouble. By the time you're a type 2 diabetic, you're in trouble. And we can't base our nutrition advice on how do you fix type 2 diabetes once it's already there. Let's just not get there to begin with. Because you're going to need a medical intervention once you get there. You're not going to be able to fix that in a YouTube video. You already screwed yourself. But I will say that you got to treat your body pretty dang bad to get there. Right? Which, again, millions of people are there, but they've abused their bodies, unfortunately. And I'm not going to get into the whole psychology behind that. But in short, the refined fructose is the problem. It's not all sugars. It's not even all fructose. It is the stuff that you absorb too fast. And again, just making it very, very simple without going into the issue of gut flora, enzymes, and everything. But fructose that reaches your liver in the bloodstream is a problem, okay? When it gets too high...
Yeah, it could be definitely a problem. Fructose is too high and stuff. I don't know why you would want to do this anyways.
Because our body can't use it for fuel. It's technically a poison. It goes through the same process in
Okay, I will agree with him because I just mentioned that in the beginning of the video.
the liver that alcohol does to make it into glucose, a fuel we can use.
Yeah,
But
you can get a fatty liver disease.
load on the liver, this can cause fatty liver, causes insulin resistance, can cause fat to accumulate around your organs. This is bad.
That's what I showed you here in this report. The first part. That's what it causes. It could cause insulin. It does cause insulin resistant, fatty liver disease, whole range of problems. You have no idea. In men it can cause your prostate to enlarge. You'll have kidney problems, skin problems, teeth problems, just about everything, man.
But the insulin resistance is the big deal because we're not really getting fat from the fructose. Okay?
No, that's wrong. It's gonna make you fat, man.
I want to be clear, you're not storing fructose under your skin ever. It's not happening. You might be storing some of it converted in your liver and in your organs.
Well, it itself is not gonna make you fat, but whatever is circulating in there is gonna make you fat.
But that's not going to be 20 pounds. If you got 20 pounds of visceral fat, you're at risk of dying very, very soon. Like you're in a bad spot. That's not what most people have.
I'm gonna have to agree with some of the things he's saying about these health problems with doing these things. Some things, I would say, Blaha's kind of right on about for sure. Yeah.
Okay. So it creates the insulin resistance.
If I were you, even as a young person, I would try to reduce the amount of junk food I eat and definitely the amount of sweet stuff that goes in your mouth. Sugar, fructose, whatever it is you're doing there, I would try to reduce it almost to nil if you could, to nothing. You're going to have to fight, I guess, because you're so addicted to it already. You grew up with being addicted to these drugs, these fructose, sugar drugs and everything. So, yeah, I can understand it's really hard to wing from the majority of people that are out there. Me personally, I never get addicted to anything. I simply can stop on a dime doing anything. I just stop, that's it. Like when people were asking me, man, you're not eating anything but carnivore? no, I'm not eating anything but carnivore and water. That's it. That was it. But after a while, occasionally, I cheated, right? I had like, a Kit Kat bar, a chocolate bar, or something. I like chocolate. So I'm not saying you can't indulge in some of these things, but it's not something you want to do often to destroy yourself. The whole point is to keep you bigger, better, stronger, and faster. And if you want to stay like that and keep up with the Joneses, especially when you get older, you're going to find that young people, you as an older person, young people are going to attack you. So the whole point is to stay as strong and big and as good as possible as you can keep yourself preserved. Yeah.
So what happens with the insulin resistance? We get hungry. We're lethargic and we're hungrier. We have an
The insulin resistance making you hungrier because you're unable to absorb the nutrients. Nutrients are unable to absorb. That's why they try to tell you that these fruits and vegetables, they're anti-nutrient. Well, yeah, insulin resistance is kind of anti-nutrient, and the toxins are even more anti-nutrient. So yeah. So even if you were to eat that steak and you eat those vegetables, you always are eating these vegetables with fruits and everything. The problem with that is insulin resistance, and then it's anti-nutrient, and so the nutrients in the meat is unable to be absorbed by the cells. So you're constantly hungry, and so you keep eating and eating and eating. They call that overfed and undernourished.
tight issue that is created now because of the way that we process insulin and glucose. Means we're going to overeat way more. We're going to have metabolic
It's another reason why people have problems building muscle, because it's anti-nutrient. That's the problem.
syndrome. Okay, the fat we eat is what we're storing. We're not storing the carbohydrates as body fat, not to a meaningful degree, and never under your skin. Again, that's been pretty clear in the metabolic ward. So what creates the dysfunction, the fructose creates the dysfunction, the excessive refined fructose. That dysfunction makes it more likely for us to way overeat the fat that we are then storing and all the fat calories. Now when people say, well, if I just eat really low fat, I can't. Well, except that your low fat might still be high enough in fat for you to gain a pound of fat every week.
Yeah, it's a possibility. Yeah, definitely. I would agree.
Put that in mind. Keep that. But the point is, it is the fat that you're storing. So then we'll overeat way more fat.
You'll overeat more fat. You'll just keep being overfed and undernourished is your problem. And that's why you get fat. Look, man, people that are overfed, undernourished get fat.
Eat more. Well, you guys aren't in the clear either, potentially.
And those who have a very high metabolism, well, you're lucky. You'll just keep eating.
All right, this is our problem. It's this combination. We're eating all this refined fructose plus all this fat. Now, someone who gets...
Not necessarily. You guys are eating natural fructose, too much of it. You're boiling your vegetables, which increases the sugar in it. Yeah, man, that's what happens. A lot of people, they boil their vegetables, their potatoes, sweet potatoes, vegetables. They bake, they bake them, they boil them. Whatever the hell they're doing, they're steaming them. The sugar content increases even higher. Oh, yeah.
Some insulin resistance from excessive fructose still won't get fat if they ate almost no fat. If they ate an
These starches, too, are high.
absurdly low-fat diet and still ate the tons of the refined sugars, they're going to have type 2 diabetes, possibly. They're going to have insulin resistance.
People are already they're already on the verge of type 2. Everybody in society right now, they've measured society saying they're on the verge of type 2. Everybody. What's keeping them from type 2? Well, they're just not eating, they're not exceeding that level. It just happens to people that exceed a certain level. They can't stop. I know people that down Cokes, like I'm telling you, like it was water. They down 5, 6, 7, 8 cans a day of Coke. It's crazy. Sometimes they turn to 1 liter bottles. They start downing them like there's no tomorrow.
They're not going to actually get obese, though. Right? This is what's getting us. It's not, oh, everyone's, sedentary. No, because you still need a calorie surplus. Someone on a
If you're sedentary on a carnivore diet, nothing's going to happen to you. You're going to function properly.
on a fairly strict diet would not gain fat even if they didn't exercise at all. It is the diet end.
I'm going to have to agree with him. It's the diet end, man. I got to go. Tell me what you think about that. Like, subscribe, support the channel. See you in the next one, man. Our diet slave here. Jason Blaha. See you in the next one.